Kenya is one of the most democratic countries in Africa and in the world as a whole. Very democratic.
Okay.
The democratic space Kenyans have opened is huge. And that's why you can do anything in Kenya, nobody's going to ask you. I can even abuse the president today and nobody's going to question me today. Unlike those days when people were every time in jail. Right now there are no political prisoners. There's nobody being taken to jail for abusing a prisoner or doing ABCD. But the problem of political leadership have taken that advantage too far. They are now doing things that are not right for the country. Now the current stopping of the government is a coalition government, whereby there was a claim of two winners. Because we're going to have two winners, sure. Two people winning an election, it can be. They say there are two winners, so they share half-half. So it's a coalition government, you share half with the government, they share half the government. Any appointments must be half. Cabinet ministers are half. Everything in the system must be half. So you can imagine having halves in a country that's supposed to be united. So we have got two principles, the Prime Minister and the President. The President must consult the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister must consult the President. But every now and then, whenever the Prime Minister makes an announcement, the President revokes it. Whenever the President makes an announcement, the Prime Minister revokes it. So you ask them why, they say they didn't consult. Then when either of them is talking, he says that I've consulted the other. So we don't know who is saying a lie. So the whole political leadership in Kenya, they have become liars. They're not duping Kenyans into things that you don't understand. They're not beacon, they're not fighting. They're fighting, but they're not battling the really issues that are affecting the Kenyans. The issue of reforms, the issue of our economy, and other pertinent issues. They have now abandoned them totally. So we are asking, where are we heading to? We are now 2 years since the elections. But the way things look, we might be back to the drawing board. We need an election. This government is very amorphous. Nobody knows the tail, we don't know the head, we don't know where the back stops. Anybody is doing their own things or his own things. People are just ignoring the constitution, they are doing their own. No, it's just like they're mortgaging the country. When there is any problem, they sit together and they agree to share how to share it. You have a problem, you have stolen, don't be suspended, I'll protect you the other time. So you protect me, I'll protect you, the same to parliament. The parliament is divided. When you make a wrong, you negotiate out yourself. You protect the other, you protect the other. That's what's going on in this government. Very useless government, as we are speaking right now. It's not even a government. It's very amorphous. Yeah. What happened that the argument was that they bind Africans to open up their market for the dumping of the European goods. That's what was in the essence. You look at the African infant industries, they were killed because what happened that when you open your market, you are competing, my friend, how do you compete with an industry in the UK that was established almost 1,000 years ago? Your industry in Kenya was established almost 10 weeks ago. You are competing with that kind of industry. You can't compete. So what they have been doing, they say the blending of the Kenyan tea must be done in Europe. That's what is happening. They take our tea at $1, they take it for blending, they bring it back, they sell to the same people who are the Kenyans at $20. You can imagine the product they are making. And nobody's complaining, they say we have an agreement. If that's the agreement, it has to be binding to all the countries. And that's what they're doing to all the countries in Africa. They have now decided to subdivide them into regions, that 20 regions. They subdivide so that once you divide them, you can be able to colonize them. This is another new colonialism that in Africa is taking place. And unless Africans stand up, they will continue being poor. Because the world over, there is no way a rich man will like to have a fellow rich man become rich. No. The rich must have ways of spending their money. The only way they can spend their money and dump their goods is on African continent. And that's why they will keep pressing the Africans to remain low. Anything good in Africa, they own it. The other time when they saw Mandela, after terrorizing Mandela in jail, put him in jail for 27 years. Afterwards, when Mandela came out to be a hero, they say they want to make a statue in London. They made a statue for Mandela in London. So they say Mandela is ours, they own Mandela because it's successful. Anything that's successful belongs to them. Anything that's useless, it belongs to the Africans. And they'll continue doing that as long as we remain looking upon them for any assistance. The IMF, the World Bank, the money they are giving us, this is not money they are giving us. They are not lending us. This is our money. I come to your house, I steal, I go away, then you ask me to lend you the money I'm stolen from you. That's what's happening. And that's what they have been urging African countries. Don't even pay these debts. This is the money they stole from you. This is your money. But no one wants to listen to that. Because the Americans, they want to continue looking at Africans as poor people. The Britons want to look at Africans as poor people. They are not competing. The Chinese have come to Western Africa, they're now fighting the Chinese. They say the Chinese, the goods are ABCD, they don't want them to come to Africa and invest. But why are they not accepting that? Because they fear competition. They want to just have one source of, so that when you want anybody to go to the IMF or the World Bank, go to Washington to cry, give us assistance. They don't want anybody to go to China, to go to India or wherever to seek assistance. But Africans are not determined that we are going to head to the east. We go to China, we go to India, we go to wherever to partner with them and develop our countries. But the Americans don't want. They don't want us to develop. Because when we develop, we shall be independent. They don't want us to remain appendices and depending on them. Remain paupers. So that when you cry, they come and wipe up to your tears and say, the Americans have wiped up my tears, they're good people. We don't want that. And we need a revolution in Africa to chase away all these people. They go away. If you look at the war in Ethiopia, the war in Eritrea, the war in Southern Sudan, are supplying those arms. So the problems in Africa, they stem from the West. The West believe that the moment you give Africans peace, it's a very rich continent, they will be self-sustaining, but they need to have ways of dumping their own ways of their own goods and their own stuff. They need to have ways of seeing that spending their wealth on the poor, and they believe that the only place that we can have the poor is in Africa. They want all the poor people on the African continent, despite the beautiful weather that this country is enjoying. When they come in, they don't want to go away. We have been taking back their crops every now and then because they don't want to go away. But they believe their country is better, simply because the resources they are enjoying even in their country, they come from here. They come here, the milkers, even in Kenya, the tea sector, what do? They say the blending of Kenyan tea cannot be done anywhere apart from the UK. That's where it's being done.
As an African, we have come to recognize the importance of being humble. I come from a very humble background, and in our initial years, things were not very easy. Education was difficult, it was not easy to access, but we thank our parents for the devotion that they put to enable us to get education, and as much as difficult as it was. Over time, we've been exposed to many other parts of the world, and right now I'm proud as an African to indicate that whatever misconceptions people had about Africa are totally unfounded. Africa has come of age. We still have our challenges, but right now we can say in many areas of development we've been able to catch up with the rest of the world, and I'm sure the future for Africa is bright. Africa is a continent full of resources, not only the personal or human resources, but also mineral wealth. Africa is known to contain 90% of the world gold and diamonds. Africa is known to have more than 50% of petroleum, and therefore with proper management, proper leadership and vision of where we want to go, Africa is a sky.